Before we get started, Branden Bullinger, let's pay homage to the late, great Willie Mays, who passed away. I consider him one of the all-time greatest. He might be the GOAT, and he doesn't get a lot of credit for being the GOAT by some people, but he is one of the GOATs in my book. Branden Bullinger, the Deferred Collusion Podcast. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, Jesse. That was beautiful. I do agree, Mr. Mays. Got to be the GOAT. It's somber times. Kind of feel like he's one of those pillars of baseball that's just always been there. And now we're living in a world where he's gone. It's, as a Dodger fan, losing Vin and, losing Willie, it's tough. It's tough. It's a changing of the guard. It's a changing of the times, but we're happy to have had him and we're lucky to have gotten to see him play. And the impact he's left on our world is undeniable. And man, lot to be grateful for there, huh? We should all be so lucky to live such a long and
93 years old. Passed away. He made his debut in 1948. At age 20, he finished his career with a 301 batting average, 660 home runs.
Wow.
940 career OPS. One season, the highest homer amount he hit was 52. One season where he led the league, and like if you go to his baseball reference page, he has like a lot of black. He led the league in a lot of stats, a lot of different years, but it's not as much as you would think, and that actually impresses me more because it's like he was just consistently good every year. Like every year he was consistently good.
This guy who had an approach and stayed within his means. Those means were just the highest tier possible.
Yeah, he the greatest catch of all time in the World Series, obviously most legendary catch of all time. He's amazing. I got it when he died. The footage you just mentioned, Vin Scully. Footage came out of Vin Scully meeting Willie Mays in the Dodgers dugout. Or no, sorry, in the Dodgers broadcast booth.
Yeah, for Vin's final broadcast. Yeah.
Obviously, he was a Giant, so he was a rival to the Dodgers. But apparently, he's always been Vin Scully's favorite player. Or he was Vin Scully's favorite player.
Yeah.
So that was very cool to watch.
It was really, really rad. And, it's this nod to like, hey, remember Vin Scully grew up actually as a Giants fan back in New York. So, I miss Vin. We miss you, Willie. We hope to make you proud.
Well, the MLB did a great job of honoring. They don't do a lot of things right, as we're going to point out a lot of times on this podcast, but they did a great job of honoring Willie Mays. And they put together some really special stuff for him when they played the game at Rickwood Field. It was the Cardinals and the Giants played each other. Was it Cardinals and Giants? I'm sorry. Cardinals and Giants played each other at Rickwood Field. And so they got a chance to honor him there because obviously they were honoring the implementation of Negro League statistics and sort of honor the Negro Leagues. And that was, do they still play there? I'm sorry, I didn't do my research on whether or not games are still played there.
Yeah, it's the oldest active stadium in the country, I believe.
Right, so...
or second oldest, maybe.
Right, so it's been there a long time. And did a great job, but they also... The moment that I think kind of took everybody by storm was Reggie Jackson did an interview while on the air for the Fox broadcast. And I mean, it's like, you could say it was almost like not safe for work. It was so brutally descriptive and powerful, but honestly awesome to watch. And Reggie was talking about how he played for the Birmingham A's before he was called up to Oakland, and just said how he's grateful that they're having this experience here. They're honoring the Negro Leagues and everything, but he basically was saying that I don't enjoy coming back here because this place reminds me of just horrific racism and things that I went through in my time coming up to the league. And he used strong language at times to describe it, racial slurs that were thrown his way. And, you can't help but feel like it was, I was happy to hear it, even though it was obviously a hard story to hear. I was happy to hear him say it and proud of him for coming out about it.
I think it illuminated and reminded all of us why the implementation of the Negro League stats into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is so crucial, because these players are all-time greats and weren't allowed for really unfair and really ugly reasons. And I think that type of candid conversation, like you said, is a bit jarring, right, to hear on a national broadcast. But it's a reminder of what the reality was, and unfortunately remains to be for so many people, even though it's not overt as it was then. But to hear that was shocking and uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
But like you said, I was glad to hear it. It made me kind of appreciate the game in that field, in that moment, in a way that I don't think I would have otherwise. It almost, I think, for me, maybe felt more like, oh, this is like a cornfield game, a little gimmicky,
like an exhibition, right?
Yeah, just kind of fun, like nod to the game's history. But it's a reminder that history isn't just something in a textbook, on a web page, on a stat line. These were real men and women dealing with real life issues, with real life consequences that were oftentimes fatal. And that was for as something as innocuous as playing a game and playing it well. So, man, I mean, the word like bravery or hero, whatever, it gets like thrown around a lot. And it's like, man, these guys really had to be brave and lead by example to just make it to the next town. You know what I mean? Not being allowed into inns or being allowed to eat or even being allowed on the field, you know, or sometimes at the facilities until, all right, get up on. I don't know. It's
he needed his teammates. He said he needed his teammates to basically back him up and stand up.
And he named a bunch of guys.
I forget some of the names that he listed, but go watch the interview. He'll let him say it himself, tell his story himself. But
yeah, we should link that interview.
Yeah, we will.
In the
description. I'll link it. But also, I was noticing some stuff in comments of a video that we posted about Josh Gibson being the all-time batting average leader and OPS leader. And I'm, makes me think, like, when you hear Reggie Jackson talk about it, just like think about what he's saying when you decide that you're gonna, be like critical of this decision by Major League Baseball, because it's like you're saying, oh, that they were playing in this league that like didn't, they're two different leagues. Why don't you implement Mexico stats? I saw one thing. I'm like, just think about what you're saying. Reggie was talking about stuff that happened like 30 years after the implementation of integration of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. Like, this is 30 years after that. And it's like, and he's talking about it and he's still alive, like telling you this story that he lived through. That's not that long ago. So just when you're making those comments and you're being critical of it, just think about that. Just put it in that perspective, like, oh, okay, well, that's where this is coming from. The decision for these players not to play with each other at that time, the stuff that Reggie was dealing with 30 years later is still the same reasoning for why that was happening to begin with. So
and I mean, take it even a step further. A tradition in Major League Baseball every year, everybody wears 42. And when you don't think about it, it's just as simple as, oh, we're honoring Jackie Robinson. But it's more than that, right? It's like, why were they all wearing 42? It's because of the was it Roy Campanella or who was the player that's that Jim, like, maybe we'll all wear 42.
Oh no, it was Pee Wee Reese.
Pee Wee Reese, forgive me. Yeah, not Roy Campanella. Another great. But that's why everybody wears 42. It's kind of like, hey, we're all one, we're all human beings. Like, the color of our skin does not dictate, whether we're first or second class citizens. And it's like a reminder of our humanity, I think. And it's as simple as it's a game, right? We should all be allowed to play. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
We're growing.
These records may be important. They're not more important than how we act as a civil society. So,
well said.
That was one of my favorite moments of the week. Happy we got to cover that. We can sort of shift over to ball now. We can the statistical side of things here.
Yeah.
I want to get to the electronic pitch calling system.
Robot umps, baby. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, you want to do it first? Okay.
Yeah.
So you sent this to me in a DM, and I didn't get a chance to read up on it, and I got a chance to read up on it a little bit, but there was a report that was sort of sent out where it essentially was sort of letting the players know, like, not because there'd been a lot of complaints by players about how there were too many balls and strikes being called based on the computer, that it was too much, and which was surprising for me to hear, because I thought that was the whole point, was that you wanted every call to get right, but it was kind of like there was complaints that it was like, no, we just want it for specific calls.
Yeah,
And, or am I getting that wrong? Am I mixing that up here?
I think so, a little bit.
Hold on. I'm gonna get the DM because I have it. I'm getting to something here, because
It's all
basically
good.
the
Take your
report
time,
that was
boss.
sent to the league was that we're only going to change the calls that are like egregious. We're not going to be using it on every pitch, which I thought
Yeah,
was very interesting.
to give some fluidity. I think there was some I think the way it's been implemented was that it was like a few days a week it would be the automated balls and strike zone, and then a few days a week it would still be umpires calling it, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy. But I'm not super tapped in. Got the kid on my brain right now. Sorry, just doing laundry. We're just catching up. Deferred collusion, professional journalism at its finest.
So this is what it says in the Athletics Instagram post. It was that the MLB sent a memo to all 30 teams informing them that starting next week, electronic ball strike technology will switch solely to a challenge system in AAA games. The Athletic reported last summer, minor league players, coaches, and staff expressed their vehement unhappiness with the way full-time automatic ball strike system worked. So yeah, I did have it somewhat right. So what Tuesday's memo made apparent was that if robot umps arrive in 2026, they're almost certainly to be used only to correct the most egregious mistakes via a challenge system similar to the one used now for instant replay. And there's an article in the Athletic that's great. And I love this.
That.
I love it because I'm one of the few people. It's like, I don't want to get rid of umpires entirely. I like the aspect of baseball where there is like an argument taking place about balls and strikes. I think it's entertaining. I think there's like an entertainment factor that you lose if you're just getting them all right. Cause like the same thing happens in football where there's like pass interference calls. You can't really overturn pass interference calls that often because it's like, it's kind of up to the judgment of the ref. Like you can occasionally overturn it, but like normally it's like a lot of it is judgment call. And I don't know.
Yeah,
like, just imagine challenging every single pitch that's called out of the zone. Like it would slow the game down.
Yeah, it would take forever. But I think to your point, man, I think it takes a little bit of the humanity out of the game, right?
Yeah.
What is real life? Real life is like, hey, I busted my butt. I've been putting in the long hours. I'm going to get this promotion. And then the company goes with an outside hire. And you're like, what the hell, dude? That's not fair. I've been here the whole time. That's what having an umpire is, right? Oh my God, he hasn't been calling that high strike all night, but now he just called it for strike 3 to end the game. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You know, I text you about stuff like that all the time. I was texting you from a Dodger game, like, this John Bacon is blowing it right now. He's looking terrible. No disrespect, John. It ended up being a pretty decently called game.
John Bacon, worst umpire in MLB right now. John Bacon.
Oh, Jonathan, you pig. No, jokes. It's a Bacon joke. Sorry, John. Anyways, I want to see a better rollout of replay for, like you were saying, the more egregious calls, but I don't want to lose the entire field. The idea is that we bring up the floor of our umpiring, officiating, whatever you call it, without making an unrealistic standard for the ceiling. Less Angel Hernandez is what I'm hoping to avoid.
And I think it's fine to have it where, like, hey, if you have like a challenge, like I like the idea of like a 3-strike challenge almost, where like you get 3 challenges for pitches or something, like a certain amount of challenges, and then if you're correct, you get to retain them. And then also like automatic challenges, like where, like, let's say the umpire in second base saw a pitcher like really high, like to end a game or something like that, and then the second base umpire could say, hey, you might have missed that one. Let's take a look at it. I don't know. That might be asking for too much, because then that's just like too much of the umpires. That could be civil war for the umpires. Like,
could be
like you're embarrassing your buddy.
Showing up the
home
plate blue.
But I like the idea of crucial calls being made. Like if a strike 3 call like to win the World Series is like 5 inches outside, you got to get that one right.
Dude, how long are we from seeing a playoff game or World Series game end on a pitch clock violation? I believe we had our first game.
We did.
And in a walk-off pitch clock violation. It was the Nationals playing. Oh my God. I'm sorry. It's escaping me right now.
They played I have it in my app. Sorry. I want to say Rockies. No, not Rockies. It was Nationals.
Was it Rockies? I think it was Rockies.
Yeah, it was Washington. It was in Washington, Colorado. Yeah, and
there you go.
Bases loaded, and it was a 3-2 count, I think. And
yeah,
the pitcher on the mound, I don't know who it was. The pitch clock violated, and he was like about to throw too.
Yeah,
he was like ready to throw. It was a quick hook on that one.
Yeah,
no tolerance policy from that umpire.
Hey, robots, they got no feelings, baby.
Kyle Finnegan was the pitcher. And
sorry, Kyle, you got row-boned right there.
Yeah. And what's funny is Ryan McMahon was at the plate. I think he thought that there was a violation being called on him at first, because based on his reaction, he looked pissed. He was he thought he'd struck out, but he didn't realize what it was. But yeah, Hunter, who's the umpire? I want to figure out who this guy is. Who is the umpire? Fuck it. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it was pitch. You're not wrong. We're at that point where I am concerned that could happen.
Is this wrong, huh? Is this wrong? No, sir.
Looking good, Brent.
They're dad arms, baby.
Yeah, you got that.
I don't know if anybody's
now, don't you?
I do, and I don't know if anybody's paying attention at home, but I have had 3 different beverages on camera today. I got a little white wine today, Jesse. Hope you don't mind.
Nice. What else do you got?
I got a little 805. This is no free ads, but I got a little Cerveza with lime. It's a white can. It's from California. But yeah, and then I got a Spindrift, which is non-alcoholic, but it's just a little sparkling water and grape juice. That I will give a free ad to because I suck those things down. They're a delight. I'm a hydrated boy, Jesse.
You hawk to in those things down.
Oh my God, I have on them things, dude. Just like my boy Bryce Harper, them fighting Phillies, Jesse.
Unbelievable.
Hawk Tuah, baby. Jesus.
Yeah.
Hawk Tuah.
The Hawk Tuah girl has infiltrated Major League Baseball.
She has unified this country in a way we really desperately needed in this upcoming election. She has. Hawk to me, baby.
Bryce Harper got an RBI double in a game the other day, and when he got to second base, I don't know if this is not safe for work. I don't know if I might get a strike for sexually explicit content. But he spit on that thing. He celebrated it, and it was pretty. I did notice some comments.
It was graphic.
People saying like, I don't know if I ever want to see Bryce Harper doing that again. As funny as it was, you can use your imagination as to why, but you're watching your favorite player. Imagine a 5-year-old kid looking at Bryce Harper.
Dude, could you imagine
Daddy,
what's
the celebration
ripping an RBI double and turn it into second base and looking at the Boston dugout and like 2002 or something like that. 03. Just go,
a 5-year-old kid looks at it, is like, Daddy, what does this celebration mean? He's like, ask your mother.
The mom just showing her ring.
Oh my God. But it's one of the most as the kids say, the most sus celebrations I've ever seen.
It's top 3 susses, I think, of all time. I know we were talking a little bit about, is it more sus than the Mookie Dodgers pepper grinder shaker thing last season?
What do we call it? Like a water bukkake? What do we call that? When it's like they're getting, it was like 3 dudes too.
Speaking of not safe for work.
Right. They're spraying water on his face. It was like 3 dudes too. So they're all, it was.
I mean, they got the seed thing now. It's all, there's a little sexual undertones in some of these, but you know what? We are talking about 2 of the best teams in baseball, and maybe that's what it needs to keep the keep the gears loose all season. And
Don't take yourself too seriously, and you're like testosterone and like, oh, you got to look like a tough guy. They're clearly not afraid of it. But I do wonder, are the Dodgers like the zestiest team in baseball because they have their celebration on second base where they do this. They have the pepper grinder. Like Mookie has, been kind of, he has some zesty moments on the microphone. Do you think the Dodgers are up there?
I think you could make an argument, but
Yeah.
it is Pride Month, so you can love any team you want. So
Yeah,
I think I'll
fair
just
enough.
leave it at there.
Yes. That's why Bryce did it, because it's Pride Month.
That's why he did it. Shouts out, my fellas.
Shout out Pride Month. All right.
Heck yeah, fellas. Keep it up. Keep having fun out there.
That one's for the socials. We can move on. I want to just mention, because in an earlier episode, I was talking about how I wasn't as impressed by Paul Skenes as I thought I should be, or as I was hoping I would be. And
I disagreed with you.
And I just want to take a minute to say how just absolutely dead wrong I was, because this dude's been insane. Since his major league debut. He has a 2.18 ERA through his first 8 starts. He went 7 innings today against Tampa Bay, 5 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. The only run he gave up was a home run to Yandy Diaz on the first pitch of the game.
Woo!
So he got jumped, basically. He got jumped off the bat. And then after that, they literally couldn't do anything. The Rays couldn't do anything.
Schemed him.
He is way better than anybody could have ever anticipated he could be. I mean, this is enough of a sample size now where I'm like, okay, yeah, the scouting reports are out on him. So the fact that he's still doing this is like, oh no, he is it. He is him.
Yeah, he is him, as they say. That is true. He is him. I'm gonna just say it. I don't care. I think he's gonna be the National League starter in the All-Star game.
Whoa.
Yeah, there. I'm saying it. I think he's gonna stay hot. No disrespect to a certain stud out in Philly, but I know I'm on Team Skeen right now, and I've called him my girl from Ipanema.
Yeah.
I know you were unfamiliar with that song, you uncultured swine.
Well, what I was saying is that we've become so desensitized to high velocity in baseball now that when Skenes came out there, I'm like, yeah, he's got great stuff, but like I've seen Mason Miller kind of doing the same thing. I've seen like Gratterall throwing 100 miles an hour. Like,
yeah, look at that.
I just see it all the time. And then your point was that it's like it's like seeing a hot girl. Like, you never get tired of seeing a hot girl.
Never get tired of it, dude.
And then you compared it to the girl from Ipanema. So Paul Skenes is the girl from Ipanema.
Yeah, and he's just proven it every bit, every start. And just going back, I know we talked about it a few episodes ago, but his comments after facing the Dodgers and giving up a tater to Shohei after Kang him in his first at bat, just kind of like, hey, just letting it eat, letting them big dogs go after it is pretty tight. So it's been great. I love watching them. It's always exciting to see young talent thrive at the big league level, no matter what league or team they're on. It's just future's bright, right? Looks good.
But the fact that he's doing it in like 7 innings is what's so impressive to see, because I know in the minor leagues they were really like holding him with like baby gloves, handling him with baby gloves, because he wasn't going longer than like 4 2/3 a lot of the time. And he's been going deeper into games in the major leagues, which says to me, oh, they were just like not taking any risks. They weren't interested in him throwing 6-7 innings in the minor league.
Well, it seems like these guys that are hitting, 99, 100, 101 effortlessly or just repeatedly, it seems like there's only so many bullets in the chamber before you got to, go on the IL with some sort of maybe like surgery or a cleanup or what have you. And just, this season has just been so incredibly riddled with injuries. It's understand. You kind of understand it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
think that's what the Dodgers are doing with
gold.
Right. And I think that's what the Dodgers are doing with Glasnow, because even though I know that they're in 2 stages of their careers, but like Glasnow, who's injury prone, he threw 7 innings last night against the Angels. 1 earned run, I should say, 2 runs.
Just a little homie to Logan O'Hoppe, was it?
Yeah. And then it was a a runner reached base. Rengifo reached base on a catcher's interference call on Will Smith, which is ruled an error. So it was an unearned run. He had 74 pitches through 7 innings. He could have easily pitched a complete game, but the Dodgers elected to pull him. Like that's complete game territory right there. And I know that he really wants to win the Cy Young. And right now I would say he's probably my Cy Young favorite. I know that there might be some argument about Ranger Suarez and you know, there are other pitchers out there. I think Glasnow is 1 or 2 starts away, like scoreless starts away from like really inserting himself in there. So you don't think Glasnow could be the NL starter? You'd put Skenes over him or over Ranger Suarez at this point?
It's not that I would cleanly put them over. I actually think Glasnow is one of the more underrated pitchers. I keep kind of seeing him on the bottom half of the top 10 list. You know, whatever you take that for. But
I think it's injury related.
Being,
I think that like
he is, I think, the strikeout leader.
Yeah.
Again, I get that. But then you look at a guy like Garrett Crochet, who's, I think, leading the AL in strikeouts. And I think he's already passed the most innings he's ever pitched in a season.
Right.
You know, he's a converted reliever to starter.
Yeah.
But
future
yeah,
Dodger too.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind it. But that asking price might be high, and we'll see if Friedman wants to play ball like that.
Probably not.
Because also I could see them going for something a little big, but maybe with a team in the NL.
The Padres?
No, actually.
Who?
Cincinnati Reds.
You would think that Crochet would go to the Reds?
No, I think the Dodgers might make a impact trade with the Reds over making an impact trade for Crochet.
What are you thinking?
As I believe that the Crochet move might be a little more costly than the Dodgers would want to pay for a guy, like I'm saying, that doesn't have a proven innings, you know, under his belt.
Right.
Amount of innings under his belt. They've already done that with Glasnow, but Friedman was aware of Glasnow back in Tampa Bay, and I think may have drafted him. I'm not sure.
No, the Pirates drafted Glasnow.
That's right. You're right.
He might have traded for Glasnow, though. He might have traded for Glasnow. I'm not 100% sure. So
I think he did.
He clearly has had his eye on him for a long time, for sure.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of that. But going back to why I think Skenes could, you know, start the All-Star game is because of how dominant he's been. And while Glasnow has been absolutely dynamite, and I think he's a top 3 or to 5 pitcher in baseball this season, you know, if not overall in the game. I just think that Skenes has been so damn dominant that if he continues through to the All-Star break, you know, it's a game for entertainment. Who do you want to see start more?
100%.
You know, Skenes or Suarez.
I heard another podcast making this argument about Mason Miller starting the All-Star game. Because it's like, hey, Paul Skenes is also probably like the biggest social media darling out of all of the pitchers, right? Because he's daily done. He's a draw, so to as a term that we use in the fight world. He's a draw. So he pulls people in. And Mason Miller and Paul Skenes, 2 guys that are throwing 102 to start off an All-Star game, just blowing away Shohei, blowing away, I don't know, Aaron Judge. You know what I mean? Like, it would be awesome to see.
It would be sweet.
Skenes versus Judge to start the All-Star game. Be fucking
Judge,
awesome.
Soto, you know, so, Ramirez.
I wouldn't be mad at it, actually. I wouldn't be mad at it. I do think that he is cementing himself as probably the front runner for the Rookie of the Year. Because unfortunately Yoshinobu Yamamoto went down. He's probably going to be out for like another 5-6 weeks, maybe. Ugh. So it's like he's probably not going to win Rookie of the Year now, which is fine. I just want him to be healthy, which is like, you know, it doesn't matter. Which means that like you got Shota, who just got shelled, and his ERA is up to 3. He had the worst start of his career.
His ERA is almost at 3.
I know, all the way to 2.97 or whatever it is. What a nightmare. And
Patrick Corbin is puking in a fucking bucket somewhere here and that.
But you're right, if like Skenes has like 3 or 4 more starts like this, all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, that's the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
He's taken over. So
literally they're going to remake the Rookie of the Year, and it's going to be a Pirates fan that throws in a ball from left field. You know?
Right. Yeah. They should do that, where they should have the Rookie of the Year trophy should be like, is the Rookie of the Year trophy based on a player?
I'm not sure. I feel
Like,
like
you
I
know
should.
how like the Jerry West logo is it's Jerry West, like
Yeah.
the MLB
Yeah.
logo is Honus Wagner. Yeah.
Man, I
Is
don't know.
is it
That's a
Honus
good
Wagner?
question.
Am I thinking of the right guy? It's Honus. I'm a
It'll be
little stoned right now, bro. I
great.
smoked a joint
Whoa,
before the
dude.
podcast. Hold on. MLB logo. I'm like uh logo player. It's Harmon Killebrew. I don't know why I said Honus Wagner. Honus Wagner is the baseball card. And Harmon Killebrew, the famous baseball card that sold for the most amount of money is Honus Wagner. All right.
This is supposed to be my analytics guy, dude.
Yeah,
and
this is
come on.
this is why people watch us.
Supposed to be my
We're not
info guy.
we're not typical, we're not going to get everything right. Anyways,
Just like the government. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, exactly. There is a speaking of rookies, there you go. That's the transition.
There we go.
We talked a little bit about the Blue Jays and how the Baby Jays have kind of taken a step in the wrong direction. Well, their number 2 prospect and number 1 hitting prospect in the system, who actually made his major league debut recently, Orelvis Martinez, was suspended for 80 games for using PEDs. He was using a banned substance known as clomiphene, which is a fertility drug, which is banned by MLB. This story has a lot of layers to it because it gets into more than just baseball. It gets into like family life and personal life, and whether or not this was an accident. There's an argument to be understood that it could be, but it's 80 games. So this is MLB is taking a pretty harsh stance on it. Martinez said in a statement that the doctor who prescribed him this fertility drug assured him it did not include performance-enhancing drugs and that he was using it because he wanted to start a family with his girlfriend because they are trying to have a baby. So he was taking fertility drugs, and I'm guessing that this doctor has probably prescribed it before. As somebody with a kid, how did this land for you? Do you have sympathy? Do you believe him? What do you think?
Man, yeah, it hits pretty hard because it's not always the easiest thing to conceive. So to think of a couple that is trying to add a life to their world, and trying to seek out medical help for it, you put a lot of faith into people when you're getting medical, references or information, answers to questions, just trying to be more informed. And I can definitely imagine a world where you're not even considering this could in any way affect your baseball life. And if you're not bringing it up with family, I can imagine why you wouldn't bring it up with the players union. And it gets into HIPAA stuff, and like you were saying, it's very layered. But just off the top, not knowing him and not wanting to just believe he's some sociopath capable of creating this super harsh, lie to pull at people's heartstrings for sympathy because he got caught using a performance enhancing substance, or a banned substance, I should say, by the MLB. I'll take him at his word until there's more evidence, But man, it's tough. It's tough because I can say all that, but still go, you're a professional. You are playing for a lot of money and you should know the ins and outs of your contract. And if you're about to take anything prescribed from a doctor, you should get a second opinion and make sure that it's not infringing on your contract. And I know we've talked about this before in the past. There's language barriers and stuff like that. Maybe some contracts get a little murky, and I don't know. I'm not trying to, feign ignorance for this guy. Maybe he just fucked up and, was cheating. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think so just yet. But like I'm saying, it paints a pretty tough picture. And, hopefully this leads to some more clarity in the rules so athletes can better navigate things like this in the future. But it feels like this is almost uncharted territory, right? Like, how often does something like this happen with a fertility drug?
So it's funny you ask that, because that's why I'm sort of like 50-50, where I could understand that you go to a fertility doctor and you ask him like, hey, what can we take we're having trouble having a baby. What can we take? And a doctor says, well, this is my favorite one. He's probably prescribed this to a lot of people that are not, because this is not a baseball doctor. This is a home doctor. This is a family doctor.
Yeah.
That's like, it's
in
a
another
fertility
country,
doctor.
right? I don't even think it
it's
was
like saying, and they're probably
Canadian or US doctor.
99.999% of the people that they're dealing with are not professional baseball players.
It's a
where there's
great
a
point.
banned substance list. So if I could understand how it's possible that like the doctor wouldn't really know, or even if like he was given a list of things that the player's not allowed to take, the doctor would be a little overwhelmed and be like, well, I'm not going to read all this. Like, no, it's fine. It's not
definitely.
It's not going to show up on a banned substance list. Like,
why would it?
Something so
like that.
it is possible. Should the doctor have known? Like, you can certainly make that argument, but should he have known? You can definitely make that argument. I'm just saying that's like,
I would love to hear from the people. I would love to hear from the people. Maybe Blue Jays fans, you got more information, please share with us. Right now, from just the information I've heard, it's tough all around. It's tough if you're, it's been a tough season for the Blue Jays. From thinking you're going to have freaking Shohei Ohtani flying into your town to, the stop and go, saga that has been Alek Manoah, to just kind of floundering offensively. And, Kevin Biggio gets DFA'd, and there's talk of Vladdy and Bo getting traded. Man, I feel for you, Blue Jays.
And they also haven't performed. Like Vladdy and Bo have not performed,
Haven't performed. So a lot of people are kind of talking about they're going to be sellers this year. So we'll see. This just feels like another big blow for the Blue Jays system, regardless of who's at fault. It's another blow for Blue Jays fans.
Yeah, it is.
That's just tough.
You mentioned that you'd never heard of a player testing positive for fertility drugs. Well, I don't know if you remember this. Manny Ramirez, when he was with the Dodgers, he received a 50-game suspension.
I do remember that. I don't remember
testing positive for PEDs. What he was tested positive for, was called HCG, which is a female fertility drug. And it's used by steroid users. That's typically used to restart the body's natural testosterone cycle, or the body's natural testosterone production as they come off of a previous steroid cycle. So it's like, I do think Manny was cheating at one point in his career.
Not in LA, dude. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Manny Wood was legit, dude. Come on.
Manny Wood was the best, but like, it might have been tainted by an asterisk. Let me put it that way.
Man, so do you think that might be what's going on here?
Well, it's not the same drug. That's the thing. It is a different drug.
It is a new generation, though. Better drugs. Better pizza. Papa John's.
Look, I'm 50-50, but this is not the first time that a fertility drug has been used as sort of like a cover for steroids. So it's possible, but I could also, like, there's a part of me that wants to believe the kid. I don't know. It's it's 50-50. It's tough, but either way, I hope that he's able to bounce back and, learn from this and, come back stronger, because the Blue Jays need you.
We're rooting for you, kid.
Yeah.
Get it together.
I think we covered everything here. Okay, let's do this.
No. We missed a couple. We got a fun
Shohei.
One. Oh, yeah.
Shohei played his first games against the Angels. Yeah. And he kind of lit them up a little bit.
Yeah, I know he had that big ding dong in game one.
Yeah.
I did see a funny meme, and it was Shohei homering in a 3-2 loss to the Angels. Was a full circle moment.
That's hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious.
That's very funny.
I was like, holy shit, dude.
It was definitely a 2-game series. Dodgers do not play today. We definitely should have beaten them the first game, no question about it. But he comes back in the next game and hits another home run, and then we beat him 7-2. What was the score yesterday?
It was 7-2.
Yeah. So I think he's taking this Mookie injury personally, dude.
I agree.
Because he's been awesome since Mookie went down. Like, he has just, I know it's only been like 4 games, but he's been just nasty at the plate.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe we can find these stats for another episode, but I wonder if his stats jump like that when Trout would go in down on an
Oh, I
injury
like
for
that.
the Angels. I wonder if there is a little bit of, growing up being the man, and now you're on a team with men that it's like, all right, put me in the leadoff spot. I got to do better than the guy that has been owning this leadoff spot, the guy that has the most leadoff home runs in the game right now.
Yeah.
So
No,
I don't know. Shohei looks insane. It's been fun getting to see Will Smith in the 2 spot, Teoscar batting clean up a little bit, and in 3. I think Freddie stayed in the 3.
Freddie's in
But
the
yeah, it's
3.
been cool. I've been
Yeah,
digging it.
everybody has really responded well to it. It's good to see Lux got a little bit
Got
of
a little
his
hot,
groove going.
dude.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see it over. I need to see it over a month before I'm like, on board with, because I'm rooting for the guy. I was super excited about Lux going into this year. He did get a homer yesterday, which was nice to see. I've been calling him warning track Lux for like a year for over the course of this season, because he just seems to hit a lot of fly balls that just like die right in front of the warning track.
Yeah.
And his homer yesterday it got a little bit of backspin on it, because it was like a fly ball that just carried over the wall. It's great. I'm not seeing him square anything up with high exit velocity. He still is not an exit velocity guy. So I really want to start seeing him like barrel it up a little bit more, because his defense has actually been pretty good. He's actually
Yeah.
really
It
turned it.
cleaned up a lot.
He had
And
the yips in preseason where he like couldn't throw the ball to first base.
yeah,
It
he
was like
did.
hard to watch. And then he's really made some strides defensively. So with Mookie going down and Rojas playing everyday shortstop, uh, they really need Lux to take that step offensively. And I hope this is a sign of things to come.
Yeah. Pajes has been a little bit better at the dish as of late, too.
Oh, dude, no. Pajes has been, listen to this. I have a stat for you on Pajes that I just
Hit
sent
me
to my,
with my Pajes stats,
oh,
papas.
dude, I got it. Hold on. It was in a tweet I sent. Did I not send this to you? Andy Pajes since May 28th. May 28th. 321 average, 404 on base percentage, 500 slugging, 904 OPS with a 397 WOBA.
Wow.
He's been awesome.
What series was that on the 28th? Do you know?
It's a good question. I don't know, but it's because I do remember he was like struggling a little bit. So I wonder if that
Yeah.
date was specifically chosen for a reason.
Because I was like, going to say, was that the Yankees series?
Schedule for the Dodgers. 28th was the start of the St. Louis series. It was at the end of the San Diego series.
Okay.
Start of the St. Louis series. So, and like if you know, the Dodgers have actually been scoring more runs since that series. But yeah, he's been really good, man. He's been really good.
I said this before. I really like his approach.
Oh,
There's
I'm
something.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was March 28th. I'm an idiot. May 28th was the Yankee series. You were right. You're 100%
Check me,
right.
dude.
Yeah. Man, I can't smoke weed before I record these episodes.
The
Yeah.
Crespi kid, dude. Can of bliss.
It also wasn't the Yankees series. It was the Mets series.
You're trash, dude.
Oh my God, bro.
So that was
Oh
a
my,
series before then, the Yankees series.
3 series before. Yeah, it was
So it wasn't the Cardinals.
No, it wasn't the Cardinals, it wasn't the Yankees, it was the Mets.
There we go.
That was a roller coaster, yeah.
That what my emotions are really fucking frazzled right now.
Oh, dude, Mitch McConnell.
Dude, old
Anyways,
muttering Mitch.
we're at the end of the episode.
It's all good.
That's
We
it for
figured
me.
it out.
That's it for me.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. What's got you excited, dude? I know we got all stars right around the corner. We got, like you said, we got some starters. We got some other you know what I'll tell you has been bugging me? Not enough representation for Will Smith at catcher for the All-Star game. Guy's having an insane year. He's leading the league in I think caught steals. His
defense has been much better this year for sure. Throwing out runners.
Unreal. His pitch framing has been great. He's I don't know if you heard that. That's the old.
She's a big fan of William Contreras.
She really is. That's
yeah.
that Latin blood in her. She's a real ornery perra. But yeah, what'd you think about the old City Connect jerseys for the Dodgers?
You know, I was very hesitant about them at first. That is they're better than the all blue ones, the blue pajama City Connects that we had a couple years
The
back.
bananas and pajamas. The
I
Julio Urias specials.
Wasn't a huge fan of the pajamas. I like them. They do resemble confetti cake, like funfetti.
They do look delicious.
Sprinkles all over them. Did you see that? I liked them. I think that it's 50-50, man. It's like I could take them or leave them. Like I would just prefer go to the powder blue, like the powder blue Brooklyn Dodger unis. That's what we need to do, bro. Bring those back.
I want to see those like 90s gray cursive Los Angeles with the piping down the legs, the white and blue.
Right.
Bring those back. But I do like the Dodger hats, the City Connects, the LA with the D is rad. I don't love the numbers. I don't like
the how numbers look terrible. The numbers are bad. That's the worst part of them by far.
Didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there was an Angel fan that was going around the Dodger game for the Angel series just now, and he was going around to every fan that was wearing a new City Connect jersey, and he was handing out free Pop-Tarts, like sprinkle Pop-Tarts. That was kind of funny. That was
That's
fun. Little trolling. So.
I like that. That's fun. That's cute. That's safe. That's baseball. And that's another episode of Deferred Collusion. I'm your host, Branden Bullinger. With me, as always, your other host.
Yeah, the other guy.
The king of Crespi, Jesse Rowe. Don't forget to like us, subscribe to us, whatever you got to do. Talk some crap to us in the comments. Share whatever you like. Tell us what's catching your eye.
If you have any topics that you like, please comment them. Let us know.
We love you so much.
Yeah.
Jesse, anything to add, dude? It's been great. I love getting to catch up with you every week.
No, I'm gonna have to go. This was. I was doing well, and then I fell apart at the end. That Mets, Cardinals, Yankees thing, their roller coaster, there really threw me through a loop. So I think it's time to end this episode.
Old man Mitch McConnell, I love you, Jesse.
Love you too, buddy.
Deferred Collusion, dude. Let's go.
Let's get it.